Hello, and a warm welcome to a new episode of Simply Electric with the brand new Mitsubishi Outlander. We've already introduced it to you in the studio, showing all the changes, not just the design, but also some of the tech. And now we finally get to take it out on the road. If you haven't caught the static presentation yet, I'll link it for you in the video description, because today is all about the driving experience, about really feeling how the brand new Mitsubishi Outlander performs on the move. When is it available to order, when will it be delivered, and what will it cost in the different variants? I'd say we don't waste any time. Please check again to see if you're part of the einfach elektrisch community. We'd really appreciate it if you could support us with your subscription. It's free for you and would help us continue to grow the channel. Now let's dive into the brand new Mitsubishi Outlander plug-in hybrid. Before we hit the road, let's take a moment to discuss the foundation and where exactly we're beginning our journey from. We have here essentially the top-tier version of the Mitsubishi Outlander, featuring an impressive 225 kilowatts of system power and a substantial 22.2 kilowatt-hours battery pack. The Outlander features two electric motors, one on the front axle and one on the rear axle. And yes, today we're planning to start by driving purely electric. Stefan, take a look here. The battery, I'd estimate it's still roughly around 80% charged, give or take. It's showing us 65 kilometers of electric range. Let's reset the onboard computer here so we can, of course, determine the Mitsubishi Outlander's consumption with you again and track its performance during our drive in real time to ensure precise and accurate results. That means we'll take a nice route here, winding through the villages and along country roads, heading a bit towards the Taunus region for a scenic drive. We're here at Mitsubishi, Germany, in Friedberg, starting from here. So, what kind of tires do we have, Stefan?
We've got a 20-inch wheel with a tire width of 2.55.
Seasonal tires? We have winter tires with us. That means we'll now switch to brake mode here, so we can also make the most of the maximum regeneration. Let's take a closer look at driving the Mitsubishi Outlander. Naturally, we'll go ahead and share our detailed impressions of how this vehicle handles, performs, and feels on the road overall. We'll share our thoughts, and later we'll also show you the exterior and interior, discuss the technical details, and cover what you get for your money. Plus, we'll delve into the different variants of the Mitsubishi Outlander available starting this April. The first shipment of Outlanders has already arrived in Antwerp, meaning you'll soon be able to get your hands on one through your Mitsubishi dealer. There are reportedly over 400 units available. Then, of course, it will also be available here in Europe. We'd like to take a moment now to discuss in detail the engine options of the Mitsubishi Outlander. That means we have two electric motors, one on the front axle with 85 kilowatts of peak power and one on the rear axle with 100 kilowatts. That amounts to a total of 185 kilowatts of peak electric power. Additionally, the front axle is equipped with a 2.4-liter Otto engine, which is primarily configured to operate as a generator in the majority of standard driving conditions and operational configurations. That means period. Generator implies that it powers the Outlander by supplying electricity through a 70-kilowatt generator and drives this generator. But it can also be utilized as a boost function, so it delivers 100 kilowatts, 136 horsepower system power, and 205 newton meters of torque. Just to outline the technical specifications in detail, this means that starting from 64 kilometers per hour, if you, so to speak, hit the kickdown and activate the maximum system power of 225 kilowatts and 450 newton meters, then it would, in principle. Component placement: decouple the front electric motor and make its entire power available naturally to the Outlander in the appropriate manner for optimal performance. Yes, then it accelerates from 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in 7.9 seconds. By the way, it always starts purely electrically, so it's only from 64 kilometers per hour onwards that the combustion engine, so to speak, functions as the drive motor on the front axle. Yes, and The top speed is purely electric at 135 kilometers per hour, and the maximum top speed would actually be 170 kilometers per hour if, say, you fully floored it on the Autobahn in the left lane with a kickdown. I think these are fantastic specs. With all-wheel drive powered by both the front and rear axles, you'll be able to confidently tackle off-road terrain as well as mud and snow. You can always count on the Outlander to deliver peak performance, no matter the terrain or weather conditions. In addition, we have, of course, Stefan, as we can see, the various drive modes, power, eco, normal, and then also specific settings carefully tailored for challenging conditions like muddy terrain, sandy terrain, and more. Snow and, of course, rough terrain. You can adjust that here in a classic way, I believe, with a rotary dial. Awesome, right?
Cool, ne?
Cool, yeah. Because with the Outlander, which let's say made its market debut in the early 2000s and has since become one of the most well-known and longest-running vehicles in Mitsubishi's impressive and diverse automotive lineup, naturally, a loyal customer base has always developed over the years, and Mitsubishi, of course, aims to strongly carry that forward with the new Outlander model. And because of that, they've naturally listened to the essential characteristics of their customers and didn't take the path that other manufacturers have gone down, especially here in the interior, by moving toward the latest switchless surfaces, toward the most modern look, but instead, they basically analyzed their customer base and asked, what does the typical Mitsubishi driver drive? What do they need? And essentially, in terms of digitization, in the realm of infotainment, they've strategically focused their efforts and, of course, further polished the already dependable drivetrain, enhancing it with even greater battery capacity to meet modern demands. We want to measure the interior noise here in the Mitsubishi Outlander with you, so we're going to drive at 50 kilometers per hour. 55, 56, 57 decibels. That's an absolutely outstanding result. So now let's go ahead and speed up to 70. "59 decibels on average, which is an absolutely outstanding result. And now let's steadily accelerate and increase the speed further up to 100 kilometers per hour. 63 decibels, which is an absolutely top result, truly outstanding, just for comparison. We measured an ID.3, which is purely battery electric at just over 70 decibels at 100 kilometers per hour. And of course, it's extremely well insulated. Let's quickly run the window test right now. We naturally also have double glazing here as a major feature of the top variant. That means two panes bonded with a film, which also ensures that we minimize the transmission of noise from the inside, keeping it as quiet as possible. We'd like to show you just how smoothly and confidently the Mitsubishi Outlander handles winding roads, even when the turns get tight and challenging. So it's not just quiet inside, but also really smooth here. You can control the recuperation, allowing you to recover energy through the electric motors, which naturally helps reduce your speed as you drive. It's a seamless way to manage energy and maintain control. You also recover energy back into the battery pack. Alright, let's take a look at the consumption. We can also check the current status. We've now driven 32.7 kilometers, have an average consumption of 25 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers, and still have a remaining range of 35 kilometers. That means we've actually managed to gain a bit of extra range compared to the original estimate we initially had. That's obviously great because, with all due respect, we might also be a bit more experienced when it comes to driving purely electric. 25 kilowatt hours is quite impressive for a vehicle that's 4.70 meters long. That's a solid figure for a plug-in hybrid.
He's handling it well. Sure, since we're going downhill now, we're gaining a bit of charge in the battery. That's definitely a plus and should hopefully extend the range a bit.
What I really like about the Mitsubishi Outlander is its tuning. We've got a suspension that's firm, yet still very comfortable to drive. Let's put that to the test with you. We'll take this roundabout at a decent pace and it just stays completely stable and steady the whole way through. Even if the tires are squealing a bit here, it nicely catches itself with the ESP, and you can see here, I think it's very, very impressive that despite its SUV build, it still has excellent road holding. It also handles load transfer really well with the steering. It might push a bit through the front axle due to the weight, but it always stays stable and has a fantastic performance in terms of body roll and lean. That means you don't get a rocking horse effect here like you used to with older SUVs when you would practically, because it kind of drives back and forth, making the car completely rock on its own. He remains perfectly straight and maintains the horizontal tilt without any issues. Now the generator, so to speak, the 2.4-liter Otto engine, has activated because the battery, as it were, has reached its lowest charge level after 52.1 kilometers of continuous driving. Unfortunately, we didn't quite make it to the display's 65 kilometers. It might also be a little because of the route's topography, since we've been driving beautifully through the mountains along the Taunus. And well, you know how it is. When you're driving uphill, it naturally consumes significantly more than when it's moving on flat ground, so to speak. I think that's a decent value with around 80% battery level. Volvo has already assured me that we can get it as a test car, which means we'll be producing more videos with you where we can drive it on our local test route in Mecklenburg. That way we'll be able to make comparisons with a fully charged battery on our test track, for example, to the Way 05 from Great Motors, which is a great plug-in hybrid. We've also already covered the BYD Clue DMI, or for instance the Mercedes-Benz GLC plug-in hybrid and the GLE plug-in hybrid. So as you can see, plug-in hybrids are always in high demand on our channel, just like the Volvo XC90 video that was recently released, as well as the Cupra Leon and Cupra Formentor, which we've also tested and reviewed in detail for you. For Mentor and so on. So with us, alongside electric cars, you always get the transitional solution with plug-in hybrids. Hybrid, feel free to check out the playlist. We've now arrived on the highway, cruising smoothly along the A66. As we continue straight toward Rudesheim, there's probably that fantastic Rudesheimer coffee there.
Exactly.
Ah, awesome. Yeah, with the Mitsubishi Outlander. And yeah, we've definitely got a stylish one here, something that really catches the eye and stands out beautifully. Cruise control with distance monitoring is on board, and here, of course, it smoothly and safely maintains the distance to the car ahead, ensuring a stress-free drive. We do have the lane keeping assistant on board, but what I somehow feel is a bit missing is the steering assist feature. That was essentially another great example of solid steering support, which the Outlander genuinely managed to deliver effectively and consistently. And yeah, it certainly isn't equipped with these days best semi-autonomous systems yet, so you've got to be honest about that. You know it from, for example, the VW Group, BMW and Mercedes, where the cars can also maintain the center of the lane very, very well in semi-autonomous mode, then adapt predictively to the speed. So for example, if a construction zone is coming up, it would already adjust to the new speed at the sign. Once the construction zone ends and the clear signal appears, it would go back to the original speed. The Mitsubishi Outlander doesn't have that feature, nor does it come with an adaptive solution. This means we'll still have to handle the speed adjustment manually when we reach the sign. The driver has to do that manually here. Of course, the new speed is always displayed through the traffic sign recognition system. Well, you'll have to evaluate whether that works for you or if it's something you'd prefer to handle differently. Isn't that good for you? What do you expect from these assistance systems? Do you actually use them at all? Many of you are also self-drivers who don't really feel the need to use assistance systems that much. What we can definitely confirm here is that it delivered a pleasant sense of space and a really solid driving experience on this brief stretch of highway. What's absolutely brilliant here in the Outlander is that it comes equipped with a panoramic glass sunroof featuring electric opening. Stefan, film out. Can you come back in with the camera, Stefan? Because the music is playing here inside the Mitsubishi Outlander. It's nice because the glass roof doesn't slide outwards but rather folds inwards. And in my opinion, it's also significantly better and quieter, especially when it comes to reducing wind noise. That's why I wanted to demonstrate it for you here. Once again, you can of course retract it. Electrically and naturally also have the option to close a corresponding roller blind whenever needed. Today we have 14 degrees here near Frankfurt, but in the height of summer we might even have well over 30 degrees. And then a glass roof can truly feel like a hot plate on your head, radiating a lot of intense heat downward. And so you naturally have a perfect sun and light protection solution. So you see, even in the Outlander, you're perfectly equipped for spring, summer and fall with a sleek panoramic sliding glass roof that smoothly and effortlessly opens inward for added convenience. The Mitsubishi Outlander starts at just over 49,000 euros here in Germany, and it will be offered in 3 distinct variants for customers to select from. The base model, then a plus variant, which is around 51,000 euros, or the top variant, which we're driving here, priced at around 59,000 euros at market launch in April 2025 at Mitsubishi dealerships, here in the top variant. You've basically got everything included here. From the Nappa leather seats, of course, seat heating, corresponding seat ventilation, and I believe it'll cost an additional 2,000 euros extra. You even get a seat massage function as well. That's, of course, absolutely brilliant, especially if you do a lot of long-distance driving. For comfort, look, Stefan, how nice it is to step in, hop over and try it. About a stick's length, it's cute though, yeah. And of course, you can enjoy lovely outings like here along the Rhine. Then, with the Outlander, you can also maximize it with a wonderful massage, just like I'm doing right now, and really enjoy it. I always recommend perhaps considering the top variants, because there you naturally have everything on board as well, and it's definitely worth the extra investment. Maximum comfort and naturally, the very best possible performance that each vehicle is built to deliver seamlessly. That's the classic, isn't it though? That's right, tight spots, and now let's see how we handle this 4.71 meter. SUV can reverse park here with the Mitsubishi Outlander, right?
That's our spot here.
Ah, look, just like this.
Turn left straight onto it.
But up front, we somehow didn't have any assistance. I didn't hear any beeping, did you? But it's nice here. Look, the rear view camera is high resolution. That's good. Then we've got this 360-degree camera on board. That's also good. And look, he's really moving smoothly in one go, huh?
Very nice.
Yeah, you can still see someone who got their driver's license the old-fashioned way, you know, back then in the Golf 2. 93, you still had to keep an eye on things while driving and couldn't just rely on ultrasonic sensors and all that kind of stuff.
But it has to be said, he's really doing well, and his tight turning radius definitely works to his advantage too.
Exactly, what we don't have here now is the ability to carry out any additional adjustments or tweaks. He doesn't have that, but he also doesn't have a front camera that pops out. That means we don't have a full 360-degree camera system, but rather just the support with a top-down view and 360 degrees. In the front, it has a parking aid, but it's also set quite quietly for the beeping, and you can see that here we found a turning circle of 10.40 meters. Mitsubishi has indicated 11 meters from curb to curb, so it still offers good maneuverability, Stefan, that's right.
It can handle it, right?
With an SUV like that, there was a front camera earlier, correct?
What did I just catch in the corner of my eye?
Wait a second, or was that still the rear view camera? Well, whatever. So, as you can see, I think you can definitely get around very well in the urban environment with the Outlander. You also have a decent all-around view in the vehicle. And I think once you've gotten used to it, spent a few days or even weeks driving the Outlander, you've kind of formed a real connection with it. Then it practically drives itself. What just occurred to me where I mentioned the gross list prices to you, I bring that up in almost every single video I do. Please don't let yourself get distracted by the gross list prices. Sure, they're ambitious, and yes, they may have increased proportionally when you compare them directly to the predecessor model. We must admit that's also true for Mitsubishi, of course. But in the end, it always comes down to the offer from your local Mitsubishi dealer, because they can obviously give you a great trade-in price. They can naturally offer you top leasing and financing conditions. That's why I wouldn't focus solely on the purchase price at first, but rather on the car and the impressions you get from us. Take the car for a test drive and fully immerse yourself in the experience. Then, carefully evaluate the value for money provided by your Mitsubishi dealer and consider whether it could be the perfect, exciting new car you've been hoping to find. Just as a quick tip on the side, because the gross list prices, no matter the brand or manufacturer, they all tend to go more in this direction. Rising trend. We've arrived at our intermediate destination, the Relais and Chateaubourg Schwarzenstein, and naturally, we also want to take a closer look at the consumption again, Stefan. It's always worth checking out.
Yes, let's see. What do we have?
We've now driven 83 kilometers with an average speed of 61 kilometers per hour and have, let's just say, approximately around 2,000. We've burned 2.3 liters per 100 kilometers from the combustion engine and used 24.3 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers from the purely electric drive, specifically drawn from the vehicle's battery pack system. And combined, I have to say, it's obviously an impressive figure which will definitely still increase a bit more. because of course we no longer have a purely electric driving range. And as a result, of course, we'll increasingly get a larger auto engine share involved. We'd like to fully utilize this stopover opportunity to once again provide you with a detailed look at the exterior of the Mitsubishi Outlander. We have it in the launch color Moonstone Grey, a really nice shade, a sort of grey-blue metallic finish with a high mineral content, giving it a unique and premium look. Here we have the new front section. It looks more robust, more powerful, and of course, it's equipped with the latest technology, featuring state-of-the-art LED headlights. We have a vehicle length of 4.71 meters, but from the outside, it actually appears far more striking and impactful in its design. I would almost say it's more like a vehicle for 4.80 meters or 4.90 meters, so the design kind of tricks you compared to the actual length. What I really like is also the wheel design. It fits perfectly into the wheel arches, which are, as we know from SUVs, often lined with a bit of plastic material, but beautifully sleek, slim, and truly premium. And you always have the flexibility to choose a stylish two-tone design. This Moonstone Grey, featuring a subtle hint of blue, is elegantly complemented by a black roof that begins at the A-pillar and gracefully extends across. So that it, combined with the privacy glass, I find also creates a very, very appealing and sleek overall visual impression and design. It looks modern, it looks powerful, it looks robust, and of course, that also carries through to the rear section of the Mitsubishi Outlander. Ford, with its sharp rear spoiler, consistently includes the bold and prominent shark fin antenna. And what I would have hoped for a bit, which many manufacturers do nowadays, is that in the future they might consider integrating this rear wiper up here into the rear edge spoiler design. What I really like are the LED taillights of the vehicle. They give it a sleek and modern appearance that I believe fits well into the current market trends. I've brought in a ton of expertise and a fantastic colleague, Jens Stratman, here with us today. Dear colleague, the co-founder of Ausfahrt TV, now known as Ausfahrt TV News and Electric Drive. Jens, tell us, as an old hand with what feels like 20 years or more in the business, what do you say about the new Mitsubishi Outlander?
That's quite funny because the Outlander actually first hit the market in Germany back in 2003. And I actually drove it back then, you know? And I also noticed when it, I think 10 years later in 2013, well, then it plug-in hybrid hit the market. Back then it was such a real wow moment, you know? Because that was actually the very first plug-in driven SUV you could purchase in Germany during that period. Already equipped with CHAdeMO back then and a relatively slow charging speed. It genuinely surprised me back then. And even with the old one, I could drive around 60 kilometers fully electric daily. I already thought that was pretty cool back then. It was basically my first dive into electric mobility. Mitsubishi was really early to the game. Just think, Imhoff. Insane. At the German museum. And now the new one. I think it's a successful improvement over the predecessor. The suspension. Some say it might be a bit too firm even for me. Yeah, maybe it needs to be broken in. We're here with brand new vehicles, completely fresh. I mean, mine had just 22 kilometers on it when I started. And perhaps the route we took also played a part in how it felt. You might need to double check that, but I can tell you for now, it's worth considering. Here's the exclusive reveal. I started with a full battery and kept a close eye on when it would switch to the combustion engine. And it was at 61.7 kilometers.
We hit 59.8.
Yes, well, it was truly a highly demanding and challenging course from a topographical perspective. Absolutely. And I think that's great. I believe him that you can do these 85 kilometers fully electric in daily life, especially when you're commuting within the city. On country roads or highways, it eventually stops being practical, but you can always pull over and stop. And I think that's good too. And charging. Well, I wouldn't do it with a combustion engine. It doesn't make sense from an ecological perspective, of course, but I think it's really a good thing. What I find absolutely stunning is the sound system, and honestly, you really need that in this vehicle.
We'll show you that later, of course.
Ollie's going to show you all that in just a second. The sound system's absolutely insane, but you need it because the car, if you turn off the radio, it makes really strange noises. I get these weird frequencies. I might be a bit more sensitive to it because I still listen to a lot of music, but I really want to get rid of those frequencies, so I always turned up the Yamaha sound system, and it was really fun. It had some serious punch. The cars got punch, but the sound system too, really didn't expect that.
A huge thank you to our dear Jens for his quick take. That was absolutely awesome. Thanks a lot, and make sure to check out Exit TV News. Fresh videos every single day. He's really active there, and of course at the other channels like Electric Drive, where you'll naturally get the latest electric cars, just like with us, and you can also do a bit of comparing, see what the opinions are from us journalists. We'd like to give you a quick peek under the hood with us. Make sure to revisit the static review once more. Everything is explained in great detail once again, where we again have the 2.4-litre Otto engine. We have charging technology, we have the electric drive here at the front, and all of that, of course, paired with the generator. We'll show you there. It's naturally another great feature. 225 kilowatt system power. It keeps climbing higher, but the weights grow heavier, just like the hood. This is really quite a workout here. I always say, with an electric gate, you won't need a gym membership anymore. You can see that with me, and now let's hear how it sounds.
3, 2, 1, begin.
Engaged. We'd like to take another look into the trunk with you. And for that, the tailgate opens automatically, of course. And we are greeted by 495 liters of cargo space. That's quite substantial, of course. You can fold down the center armrest. Then you also have a pass-through for skis or a long object counterbalance. And as you've preloaded the springs, 40% here on the passenger side and the remaining 60% on the driver's side, so that you ultimately achieve over 1,400 liters of storage space. Yes, you can clearly observe it with our carry-on luggage and equipment, how the trunk volume essentially adjusts to accommodate everything accordingly. As mentioned, you can find all the details, towing capacity, roof load, and so on in the review, which, as you already know, we've linked for you in the video. And now just a quick look around the interior space. Let's take a closer look at the interior of the Mitsubishi Outlander together. A lot has definitely changed. We've got a sleek head-up display that projects all the key info onto the windshield. Then we've got a really nice large driver information display. I'd say it's roughly around 12 inches in size. We can adjust the steering wheel in height and reach, of course. To suit our ergonomics, we have nice tactile buttons. That's how it should be for a multifunction steering wheel. We have the classic wiper and turn signal stalks with light controls. Everything is very high quality, nicely padded, and of course we also have a horn, right? Yes, it works. And then we have the new infotainment display here, fully equipped with all the latest features. And you've got Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, of course, wireless. On board, let's enjoy the Yamaha sound.
Oh, nice then.
Nice clear highs, crisp mids, and deep punchy bass. Honestly, this is absolutely fantastic and impressive.
Yeah, what Armancada means to us, Yamaha means to the Japanese.
So you should definitely be on board with that. They come, I believe, with either 8 speakers or 12, depending on the trim level. But we always recommend the top variant here anyway. Soft foam padding, high quality plastic. Here, leather with double stitching in the top variant. Also a soft plastic here. A bit of piano black, that's always delicate. Tactile ventilation vents. Then here we have the complete unit for the air conditioning. It's seriously awesome. You can't just blindly adjust the temperature. Control it directly right here at the back. Seat ventilation, heating, and wheel heating included. Perfect for the ladies in winter, I'd say. You'll also find 2 USB-C ports plus a 12-volt socket. What I actually forgot to mention, you even have a 1500-watt vehicle-to-load feature in the trunk. That means you can draw a substantial amount of power directly from the battery, which is pretty handy. To maybe grill something on the go, power a coffee machine, or even charge up your e-bike while you're out and about.
Got it all clear now.
Yes, let's stay here in the center. We have a nice inductive charging pad here where we can place our smartphone, can wirelessly charge, and it's also very nicely displayed when it's charging, as it should be. Then there's the adjustment for the individual modes, like purely electric driving. You have the normal mode where it drives in a hybrid fashion, and of course you have the safe mode where it conserves the battery level, perhaps when driving in urban areas. And you have the charge function, as Jens correctly pointed out earlier. Charging via the generator doesn't really make sense. We're much better off maybe at home, at the appropriate wall box or socket, and ideally, if possible, even from your own personal PV system setup. There are definitely some of you who manage to run the Outlander in an extremely cost-efficient way. Right here in the center, we've got a neat little cup holder that we've completely packed with all kinds of stuff. You're familiar with it from us, the sound meter, the logbook, and the Dragi's GPS meter. We'll measure 0 to 100 again, and here's a nice deep compartment perfect for a wallet or other small items. Yeah, fit nicely. Looking through the passenger door, you can again see the quality of the interior. Here there are also these little compartments where you can store a smartphone or a small tablet. And the highlights for me in terms of seat quality are definitely the premium seats in the top trim here. Of course, again, in the finest perforated leather with a lovely, generous, warm texture along with a proper long support. Then for the thighs, which is very important, especially for taller individuals, good side support, good shoulder support, and of course here, a comfortable headrest, which unfortunately doesn't include any comfort features. A glove compartment is essential. Here it might be lacking a bit of felt lining inside. And yes, there's also a nice plastic lining at the bottom. Of course, we perform the rattling check here a little bit as well. Of course, that might rattle with us, and Stefan will show you the door panel again briefly. You can really see the quality again with the leather, the warm and textured finish. Everything's soft, and that also foams for the elbow rest all the way through. Then there's also the metallic cover in a sort of anthracite black of the Yamaha sound system. And on the side, there's even a touch of carbon, like a subtle carbon matte finish. Yeah, it also looks kind of stylish, much better than piano black. And of course, in the top variant, you have memory function, electric seat adjustment on both the driver and passenger side. We're doing the seat test back here, and it's of course also a great feature where you can adjust the rear seat backrest. So you can adjust it by about 20 degrees in inclination. As mentioned, you can fold down the center armrest, and then you also have this pass-through here. As I already mentioned during the static presentation, I find this a bit suboptimal because theoretically luggage could slide through here. The cup holders here might be a bit in the way in the middle because you have to rest your arm quite close. We've got a 3-zone air conditioning system in the rear, along with seat heating for the back seats. That is also part of the top variant in 3 stages, featuring the ventilation nozzles. Nicely executed with 2 USB-C ports down there. Mitsubishi emphasizes rear privacy, perhaps for the kids. To then hook this shade back up here, great sun protection. And the seats in the back are, of course, made from the finest leather, also with the corresponding honeycomb texture, front like back, ISOFIX on driver and passenger sides. And take a look, it's not standard either, the entire rear seat backrest is fully leather covered, with a small and a larger pocket, and down here, another large compartment. Also at the bottom, it continues with a thick carpet. Everything is really, really high quality. And also all the plastic parts that are installed here, let's be honest, they are now in all models, but they appear extremely high-end here because they are, look Stefan, here they also showcase such a refined texture and aren't merely the most basic plastic as you always describe it so fittingly. We've set off again on the way back to Friedberg. I think we'll have a larger portion of highway this time, which should make the trip a bit quicker and more straightforward compared to the earlier part of the journey. Yes, we want to talk with you again about charging the battery. Unfortunately, you're limited to single-phase charging at 3.6 kilowatts, which isn't the fastest option available. We really wish it had a 3-phase charger, then of course with 11 kilowatts. Because then Mitsubishi could have recharged the empty battery, as it is now, in just over 2 hours. To charge it fully and completely. For that, however, another option has been created to charge it quickly. Unfortunately, it uses the Asian fast-charging CHAdeMO connector rather than the European standard CCS, which is generally the norm here in our region and beyond. However, there are rumors of a CCS adapter for CHAdeMO in the aftermarket, so essentially, you could still get an adapter for it. And then the Outlander charges with up to 50 kilowatts both at CHAdeMO and CCS, going from 0 to 80% in about half an hour. That's quite handy, especially during a lunch break. And then perhaps also to fully charge the battery again, because then in any case, the hybrid consumption on long distances would naturally be significantly lower than if you were to operate it solely on the generator now. 170 kilometers per hour is the top speed, but we're almost surpassing every top speed here with 181 kilometers per hour, a bit downhill, even 182 with the Mitsubishi Outlander. And of course, the engine has to push a lot of energy here, but you can feel it. We have little wind noise. We can talk quite normally here. That means the car is really perfectly insulated. They've paid good attention to wind noise, and that allows us to drive quite briskly and comfortably with this setup, even at higher speeds. Plug-in hybrid SUVs can also handle long distances with ease, and yes, it's actually always extremely comfortable to drive. And with that, we can smoothly transition to a platform we've carefully developed and refined over the past 5 years, where we can thoroughly analyze and compare driving comfort in detail. And to ensure this is done transparently, we've developed a tool called Stefan's Popometer. It never lies and, with its precise measurements, clearly indicates where the Mitsubishi Outlander ranks in terms of driving comfort. Stefan, what's the current reading that's showing up on your Popometer today?
Yes, I start as usual with sitting. Yes, these are really nice armchairs for estimating. You can really settle in here nicely. They're very comfortable. I've got good side support, good thigh support, and the seat itself is great too. I can adjust the seat in the top variant, up and down, and also to the right and left as well. It's all awesome. In terms of the suspension, I also find it very comfortable. It's not quite as soft as you unfortunately sometimes know from an SUV. I find it very pleasant to drive and to ride in as well.
Yes, taut yet very comfortable. It's truly an excellent European suspension setup. You're going to love that, especially on long drives, because it delivers a high level of travel comfort, and these fantastic bucket seats up front provide, in my opinion, an outstanding sense of space, room, and comfort, making it absolutely ideal for taking the Mitsubishi on those extended road trips. It really makes you want to maybe take a test drive and personally experience the all-new Mitsubishi Outlander for yourself firsthand today. We also want to take a moment to dive deeper into the discussion regarding the fuel efficiency and consumption of the Mitsubishi Outlander here with you. And for that, we'll of course take another look here together at the display. That means we've basically driven at an average speed of 70 kilometers per hour, achieving a consumption of 6.1 liters per 100 kilometers. From the petrol engine, 25 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers powered by the battery, and altogether we've driven a distance of 157.4 kilometers. That means we've completed the first 59 kilometers purely on electric power, and then, so to speak, an additional 100 kilometers with the combustion engine. And I have to say, that hybrid consumption of 6 liters, a plug-in hybrid SUV, with a length of 4.71 meters, that's pretty solid.
That's absolutely fine, yes. What it essentially means is indeed that
you can, of course, always, even when you ensure the battery is fully charged, which is absolutely essential with a plug-in hybrid, obviously also plan your trips in a highly cost-effective and efficient way possible. And I have to say, at first glance, the Outlander truly performs it incredibly well. And with that, let's wrap it up with the Mitsubishi Outlander. I think Mitsubishi has made a solid move, especially here in Germany, with the Outlander now being available to us as well. Correspondingly available through over 400 Mitsubishi dealers in Europe. It starts at just over 49,000 euros in the base version. We drove the top variant, which starts at 59,000 euros. Of course, it also comes with Nappa leather, seat heating, seat ventilation, massage function, Zrenia, PP, panoramic roof, sliding glass. That's the RSP, the all-inclusive package for the Outlander.
absolutely, yes. And also in very good quality, it must be said.
Exactly, you have a modern design, a good high-quality interior with a mix of materials, spacious seating both in the front and the rear, and a large trunk with 495 liters of cargo volume. And if Mitsubishi is now also part of the deal, then I know they'll be introducing some really attractive offers starting in April 2025, including both outright purchase and, naturally, leasing and financing options. I can only recommend, if you're interested in the Mitsubishi Outlander, to subscribe to our channel because there will be more videos coming in the future. We want to test the absolute maximum electric range of the Outlander. Does it really achieve the 70 kilometers claimed by the manufacturer, for example? And of course, I can recommend you take it for a test drive, and if it fits your preferences, then it could very well become your next car. And that's the end of today's video. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did making it. Please give it a thumbs up if you liked it. Don't forget to check if you're part of the einfach elektrisch community. We'd be thrilled if you could support us with a subscription. That way we can regularly meet up here on the channel with the latest electric cars. Thanks for watching. Stay healthy. See you soon. Yours, Olli. Stefan, honestly, there's so much about the Outlander that's just perfect. But that shark fin, look at it, it's so tall, like a little spike, a prong sticking straight up there, you see?
Schön schwarz lackiert.
Oh, I don't know, somehow they managed to incorporate it into the bodywork design and even the side mirrors.